Lesson 11.2 is finding common reference angles. So we're continuing on with this reference angle theme, and hopefully this will help extend your knowledge and understanding of what they mean. Directions say to find an angle in each quadrant with each common reference angle given. So right now our reference angle is 18 degrees. I like when it's in quadrant 1 because that automatically tells us our reference angle. So 18 degrees, just draw some kind of little angle in quadrant 1 here. This is 18 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and put in quadrant 1 that our reference angle is 18 degrees. Now, what it's going to create is like an X. So I have 18 degrees from x-axis up. On the other side, I'm going to have an 18 degree angle from x-axis up. So it's got some symmetry here. I've got to figure out in quadrant 2 what angle would this be. And to find this, because here is 180 degrees, I'm smaller than 180. I'm going 180 minus 18, which would be 162. So I'm using that smaller reference angle, but then getting the actual angle as if I opened up from this term, or this initial angle, this initial ray, I should say, opened up all the way to here. So quadrant 2 should be between 90 and 180 degrees. Then I'm going to go below the x-axis 18 degrees. So see how it's creating this symmetry, this X pattern here. Here's another 18 degree angle. So since I'm bigger than 180, I'm going to add 18 to it. And that would be 198. So that 198 is from opening up from the very beginning ray all the way to stopping here. And then the last one is going to be back to quadrant 1 and 4. I'm actually in 4, and I'm going to go below the x-axis 18 degrees. And I'm going to use that this is 360 all the way around. I'm less than a 360, so I would do 360 minus 18, which would be 342. Okay, kind of makes a railroad crossing sign, it looks like. So again, never using 90 or 270 for reference angles. Now it's a little harder because now we have 342 degrees. So you have to ask yourself, which quadrant is this in? So which quadrant is that angle in? This is 0, 90 to 180 to 270. I'm in quadrant 4. 360 is all the way around. I'm only 18 degrees from being... Is that really? Did I really do that again? Oh, why did I do that? I should have picked a different number. Let's make it slightly different. Let's just make it 340. Okay, still close to here. So if this is 340 degrees all the way around to here, I need to figure out what's my reference angle, which is going to be from my 360. 340 to 360. What's the difference here to here? That would be a 20. So my reference angle is going to be my quadrant 1. So stay with me here. I'm kind of doing two things at once here. So what I do is when I first figure out what this angle is in which quadrant, that goes in that quadrant just the way it is. That gives us one of the 4 answers. Then I go and I figure, okay, how do I do the math to figure out the reference angle? Then that goes in quadrant 1. So quadrant 1 would just simply be a 20 degree angle. Then I'm going to go to quadrant 2 and make a 20 degree angle from the 180. So 180 minus 20 would get me 160. And again, this number should be between 90 and 180. And then quadrant 3, I'm going to go below the x-axis 20 degrees. So I add 180 plus 20. And that gets me 200. Okay, so if you've got a quadrant 1, that goes in quadrant 1, that's your reference angle. If you don't have a quadrant 1, figure out the quadrant, put that in the box that it goes with, but then do the math to figure out the reference angle, which will also be quadrant 1.